Hey everyone, welcome. Today, we're going to get into something really cool, the tech behind the PlayStation 5 Pro. We're going to break down exactly what Mark Cerny laid out in his big presentation, get under the hood of this thing, and figure out what it all means for the games we're going to be playing.
Okay, so let's just get right to it. You know that moment, right? You fire up a brand new game, head straight to the graphics settings, and there it is, the classic choice. Do you go for those absolutely stunning, jaw-dropping visuals, but maybe at a choppy frame rate? Or do you pick that silky smooth gameplay, but have to turn down all the pretty stuff? It's a trade-off we've all had to make. But what if that choice just went away?
So to really get what the PS5 Pro is all about, we got to take a step back and look at the problem it was built to solve. And funny enough, that problem actually came from how powerful the original PS5 was. Yeah, it was such a beast that it actually created this whole dilemma for us gamers in the first place.
I mean, let's be real. The standard PS5 is an absolute monster of a machine. Think about it. When it came out, it was a huge leap forward. You got the super quick Zen 2 cores, a really beefy GPU with ray tracing, and oh my god, that SSD that practically eliminated loading screens. Plus, you have the Tempest 3D audio and the DualSense controller. It was, and still is, a legit next-gen experience.
But all that horsepower kind of gave the console a split personality. You've got fidelity mode over here, which is like the Hollywood blockbuster setting. Devs crank everything to the max. We're talking crazy high resolutions, insane detail, beautiful ray trace lighting. The only catch, it usually caps out at 30 frames per second, which you can feel, it's just not as smooth. Then you've got performance mode, the pro gamer setting, which is all about hitting that sweet 60 FPS by, toning down the graphics a little. So when we're faced with that choice, what do most of us actually do? Well, the data here is pretty wild. Check this out. A whopping 3 out of every 4 players, that's 75%, are picking performance mode. That sends a super clear message, doesn't it? We want our games to feel good to play. Smoothness, responsiveness, that's king.
And this quote from Mark Cerny just hits the nail on the head. He basically says this isn't just about what we, the players, prefer. It's actually holding back the creators. Game developers have these incredible, ambitious ideas for how their games should look and feel, but they're hitting a wall. They're forced to trim down their vision just to make sure the game can hit that 60 FPS target that we all crave. And that is where the PS5 Pro comes in. This isn't just another spec bump, a more powerful box. No, this thing was designed from the ground up with one clear mission: to kill that dilemma, to end the compromise for good.
Yeah, the whole point of the PS5 Pro is to give us the best of both worlds. It's about delivering those gorgeous fidelity-level graphics that developers are dying to create at the performance-level frame rates that we all want to play. The ultimate goal? You never have to stare at that settings menu and make a hard choice again.
Okay, so how does it actually pull this off? This is where we get to the really good stuff. Let's pop the hood and take a look. The magic here really comes down to 3 huge upgrades. Let's call them the Big 3. These 3 pillars are basically what's holding up this whole no-compromise promise. First up, you've got a way faster GPU and memory system. Simple enough. Second, you have dedicated hardware that makes ray tracing go into overdrive. And third, this is the secret sauce, a brand new AI and machine learning tech called PSSR. All right, let's talk pure raw power first. The GPU in the PS5 Pro is just a whole lot faster. We're talking a 45% boost in rendering speed compared to the original PS5. That is a massive jump. It basically lets developers just throw more stuff at the screen. More pixels, cooler effects, way more detail. Okay, pillar number 2 is all about light. Ray tracing? That amazing tech that gives us those super realistic reflections and shadows by tracking individual light rays? Well, it's also incredibly power hungry. The PS5 Pro's answer is specialized hardware that makes these calculations 2 or even 3 times faster. That's not just a step up, that's a giant leap.
And then there's the third pillar, PSSR. Man, this is the really slick part. PSSR stands for PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, and it's basically a custom-built AI. What it does is it looks at each frame of the game and uses machine learning to intelligently upscale it, adding a ton of detail and making everything look way sharper. And the craziest part? It does this without the huge performance hit you'd normally get. It's almost like having a tiny little AI artist inside the console painting in extra detail on every single frame, in real time.
So, okay, that's the tech, that's the theory, but what does it all mean for the games we actually play? What's the so what? Let's dive into some real-world examples and see how these big three really change the experience.
Okay, let's take a game like The Last of Us Part 2. On a standard PS5, if you want all that gorgeous detail in fidelity mode, you're stuck at 30 FPS. It looks great, but it can feel a little heavy. Now, on the PS5 Pro, you get to keep all that amazing detail, but the game now targets a buttery smooth 60 FPS. The difference in how it feels to play is just night and day.
Now let's flip it around. What if we want 60 FPS on both consoles? Let's look at Marvel's Spider-Man 2. To hit that 60 FPS target on the standard PS5, the game has to pull back on the resolution and detail. It's still smooth, but it's softer. But with the PS5 Pro, its extra muscle and that clever PSSR tech mean you get your 60 FPS and a much higher, clearer resolution. Everything just looks so much sharper while you're swinging through the city.
And what's really cool is that developers get to play with this new toolkit. They can use the big three however they want. So in Horizon Forbidden West, they're using that raw GPU power for better lighting and detail on Aloy's hair and skin. For Gran Turismo 7, it's all about that super fast ray tracing, giving you incredible car-on-car reflections even at 60 frames per second. Hogwarts Legacy uses it for more realistic shadows, and in a game like Ratchet & Clank, PSSR makes all the stuff in the background look way clearer.
So when you put it all together, what does it all mean? Well, this isn't just a small step up. This kind of tech really feels like it could be a major shift in what we should expect from console gaming from here on out.
Really, the big takeaway here is that the PS5 Pro isn't just about more power just to have more power. It's about building a bridge. It's closing that gap between the insane, beautiful worlds developers are dreaming up and the incredibly smooth, responsive gameplay that we all crave.
And you know, that leaves us with a pretty exciting question, doesn't it? With tech like this hitting the market, are we finally getting to a point where we don't have to choose between looks and feel? Could this be the beginning of the end for compromise in gaming? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.